Now, China has agreed to invest a whopping $400 billion into Iran over the span of 25 years in exchange for oil in a tight-knit agreement signed last Saturday. The deal could deepen China's already growing influence in the Middle East and hinder US efforts to keep the Islamic Republic isolated. To tell us more, I am joined by economy analyst and I-24 News host Ariel Margali. Ariel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Now, this deal, the first thing I thought about was what a slap in the face to the US. Would you agree?
Definitely. It's a very significant deal, and not just because of the amount, $400 billion over the span of 25 years, as you mentioned, but also because of the involvement of China in the Middle East that is growing. And we've seen America, less involved definitely in Iran after the withdrawal from the agreement, the nuclear agreement of 2015, but definitely America is doing all that it can in order to isolate Iran, and this could definitely undercut American efforts to isolate Iran globally. It's a huge deal, and we just need to remind our viewers that China was one of the powers that signed the deal with Iran in 2015. As far as it's concerned, Iran has a very strong partnership with China, mostly around oil but not only, also because it's on the Belt and Road route for China. And as far as China is concerned, they're saying we're here to respect the deal.
And now, what will Iran get out of this deal so far as we know? And what will China also gain out of it as well?
So what Iran will get is Chinese investment in a wide range of infrastructure projects. And we're looking at anything from banking to railways to ports, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of investment over the span of 25 years. What China will get in return, and this is the most fascinating part, I think, of this agreement, is a fixed price. And according to sources, retail sources in the oil and gas industry, it's going to be for a very discounted price, a steady, discounted supply of oil to fuel the Chinese growth over the course of the next 25 years.
Now, as you've mentioned, China has an increasing influence in the Middle East. So what will that mean for the region, but more specifically, what will that mean for Israel?
Very good question. So first of all, we're seeing China more and more involved in the Middle East. It sort of came to that stage where it has to be more involved in political issues also around this region, mostly for its own stability. If we're looking at the supply of oil for the next 25 years, that's a requirement for China in order to fuel its own growth, and that's why it has to be invested in this region that is one of the greatest providers, along with Russia, and of oil to the whole world. So Iran is definitely opening its doors to China. It's welcoming Chinese involvement, and we're seeing Americans withdrawing their involvement from Iran. The Chinese foreign minister said that they're going to also invite Israelis and Palestinians for negotiations in Beijing, which they have done, by the way, in 2017 with a very small delegation, not very high level. It wasn't officials from the governing parties, let's say members. There was a member of parliament there, but China does want to get more involved here, and they're going to do it their own way. They're going to do it mostly economically, less so perhaps with sanctions, more so with stimulus. And another thing to note is that it's in China's interest that the Iran-America deal or partnership or friendship will resume and we'll get back to better lines, just because if America sanctions Iran again, they could also sanction Chinese companies who are involved in Iran, and that could influence the Chinese economy.